Hello, Arthur.
Oh. Sorry, I went to the beginning, where he's confronting Prosser. I didn't realize, what you meant by the beginning. Ford, hi, how are you?
Fine. Look, are you busy?
Well, I've just got this bulldozer to lie in front of. Otherwise, no, not especially.
There's a pub down the road. Let's have a drink and we can talk.
Look, don't you understand?
Mr. Dent, we're waiting.
Ford, that man wants to knock my house down.
Well, he can't do it whilst you're away, can't he?
He can do it, well. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
But I don't want him to.
Well, just ask him to wait till you get back.
Ford.
Arthur, will you please just listen to me? I'm not fooling. I have got to tell you the most important thing you've ever heard. I've got to tell you now, and I've got to tell you in that pub there.
Why?
Because you're going to need a very stiff drink. Now, just trust me.
I'll see what I can do. It better be good. Hello, Mr. Prosser.
Yes, Mr. Dent. Have you come to your senses yet?
Can we just, for the moment, assume that I haven't?
Well...
And that I'm going to be staying put here till you go away.
So?
So you're going to be standing around all day doing nothing?
Could be.
Well, if you're resigned to standing around doing nothing at all day, you don't actually need me to be here all the time, do you?
No, not as such.
So, if you can just take it as read that I am actually here, I could just slip off down to the pub for half an hour. How does that sound?
That sounds very, reasonable, I think, Mr. Dent. I'm sure we don't actually need you here for the whole time. We can just hold up our end of the confrontation.
And if you want to pop off for a bit later on, I can always cover for you in return.
Oh, thank you. That'll be fine, Mr. Dent. Very kind.
And of course, it goes without saying that you don't try to knock my house over whilst I'm away.
What? Good Lord, no, Mr. Dent. The mere thought hadn't even begun to speculate about the merest possibility of crossing my mind.
Do you think we can trust him?
Myself? I trust him to the end of the earth.
Yes, but how far is that?
Well, we're in Covid-19, so it's about 12 minutes away. Come on, I need a drink.
Me too.
All right. Now we're going to skip to where they're on the ship.
Okay, let's see. Let me go back here, and what I can do is I can bookmark the beginning of that section here on the phone. Here we go. Bookmark right there. And skip to the ship. Okay.
I bought some peanuts.
Huh?
If you've never been through a matter transference beam before, you probably lost some salt and protein. The beer you had should have cushioned your system a bit. How are you feeling?
Like a military academy. Bits of me keep on passing out. If I were to ask where the hell we were, would I regret it?
We're safe.
Oh, good.
We're in a small galley cabin in one of the spaceships of the Vogon constructor fleet.
Ah, this is obviously some strange usage of the word safe that I wasn't previously aware of.
I'll have a look for the light.
All right. How did we get here?
We hitched a lift.
Excuse me, are you just trying to tell me that we just stuck out our thumbs and some bug-eyed monster stuck his head out and said, "Hi fellas, hop right in, I can take you as far as the Basingstoke roundabout"?
Well, the thumb's an electronic sub-ether device. The roundabout's at Barnard Star 6 light years away. But otherwise, that's more or less right.
And the bug-eyed monster?
He's green, yes.
Fine. When can I go home?
You can't. Look, I found the light.
Good grief! Is this really the interior of a flying saucer?
It certainly is. What do you think?
It's a bit squalid, don't you think?
What did you expect?
Well, I don't know. Gleaming control panels, flashing lights, computer screens, less cats, not old mattresses.
These are the Dentrossi sleeping quarters.
I thought you said they were called Vogons or something.
The Vogons run the ships. The Dentrasi are the cooks. They let us on board.
I'm confused.
Here, have a look at this.
What is it?
It is the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's sort of an electronic book. It'll tell you everything you want to know. That's its job.
I like the cover. Don't panic. It's the first helpful or intelligible thing anybody said to me all day.
That's why it sells so well. Press the button with the screen will give you the index. 7 million entries, fast wind through the index to V. There you are, Vogon constructor fleets. Okay? Enter the code on the tabulator and read what it says.
Huh. What a strange book. How did we get a lift then? Oh, you want me to read all the narration part too?
No. Oh, it's Vogon constructor fleets.
Vogon constructor
I can
fleets.
do that. Here's what you do if you want to get a lift from Vogon. Forget it. They're one of the most unpleasant races in the galaxy. Not actually evil, but bad-tempered, bureaucratic, officious, and callous. They won't even lift a finger to save their own grandmothers from the ravenous bug-bladder beast of Trawl without orders signed, in triplicate, sent in, sent back, queried, lost, found, subjected to public inquiry, lost again, and finally buried in soft peat for 3 months and recycled as firelighters. The best way to get a drink out of Vogon is stick your finger down his throat, and the best way to irritate him is to feed his grandmother to the ravenous bug-blaster beast of Trawl.
What a strange book. How did we get a lift then?
That's the point. It's out of date now. I'm doing the field research for the new revised edition of the guide. So, for instance, I will have to include a revision pointing out that since the Vogons have made so much money being professionally unpleasant, they can now afford to employ Dentrasi cooks, which gives us a rather useful little loophole.
Who are the Dentrasi?
The best cooks and the best drink mixers, and they don't give a wet slap about anything else, and they will always help hitchhikers on board, partially because they like the company, but mostly because it annoys the Vogons, which is exactly the sort of thing you need to know if you're on an impoverished hitchhiker trying to see the marvels of the galaxy for less than 30 Altarian dollars a day. And that's my job. Fun, isn't it?
And what's that dog doing in the litter box?
No. Anna, is it amazing?
Was it tasty?
Unfortunately, I got stuck on Earth for rather longer than I intended. I came for a week and was stranded for 15 years.
But how did you get there in the first place?
Oh, easy. I got a lift with a teaser. You know what a teaser is. I'll tell you. Teasers are usually rich kids with nothing to do. They cruise around looking for planets which haven't made interstellar contact yet and buzz them.
Buzz them?
Yes. Now we're going to go to I'm going to hand you the bobblefish. We're going to skip.
The babblefish.
Yeah.
Okay. I was afraid it was going to go on for way too long, but it's only going to go on for far too long.
Well, I didn't get to the part where I wanted to introduce the Vogon captain. I went 2 pages too early.
Okay.
Okay.
That's fine. So where are we starting?
You asked for a glass of water.
Oh, okay. How about starting from Fort?
Okay.
I mean, me saying Fort.
Yes.
Okay.
You asked for a glass of water?
That's the answer to the previous line. What's so unpleasant about being drunk? And then your answer is you ask a glass of water.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So do you get it? Ford is not asking me for a glass of water.
Oh, I said
he's
yes.
Responding to my.
Oh.
He's responding to my question about what's unpleasant about
Oh,
being
yes.
drunk.
What is unpleasant? Yes.
Well, what's so unpleasant about being drunk?
Well, you asked for a glass of water.
No, you don't ask for a glass of water. You ask a glass of water. What's unpleasant about being drunk?
You ask a glass of water.
Oh,
I get it.
Yeah.
It got me.
Yeah.
Oh, sneaky. Oh. Oh, too funny. Oh.
So if I'm gonna ask what's unpleasant about being drunk, you should do the. You should.
You ask a glass of water.
Let's see. Yeah, or just like, what's unpleasant about being drunk? Ask a glass of water. Oh, I see. You go down somebody's throat and into their belly and out their urinary tract.
So you have a fish in
Lay
your
down,
ear.
Anna. Sit. Stay. And continue staying indefinitely. What's this fish doing in my ear?
Translating for you. Look under Babel. Fish in the book.
What's happening?
We're going into hyperspace.
I'll never be cruel to a gin and tonic again.
Rawr, rawr, rawr. The Babelfish is a small, yellow, leech-like, and probably the oddest thing in the universe. It feeds on brave wave energy, absorbing all unconsciousness frequencies and then excreting telepathically. A matrix formed from the conscious frequencies and nerve signals picked up from the speech centers of the brain. The practical upshot of which is that if you stick one in your ear, you can instantly understand anything said to you in any form of language. The speech you hear decodes the brave wave matrix. Now it is such a bizarrely improbable coincidence that anything so mind-bloggingly useful could evolve purely by chance that some thinkers have chosen to see it as a final clinching proof of the non-existence of God. The argument goes something like this. Oh. Do I really want to say that, though?
Is that an incredibly long passage over yet?
Yeah. That really is over.
What an extraordinary book. It's so full of information and long extended passages.
Oh my gosh, yes, that was very long. Man, okay, so the book is mostly harmless. Is it? It's mostly harmless. Mostly harmless?
Let's see.
So
if we're going to do the mostly harmless part, we should
I don't want to do
probably
this
start...
because this is not me, really. I would say this.
Right.
Let's see the Earth.
Did you get much useful material on
Horror of
Earth?
erotica? Oh, I don't want to say that either. Wait, there. Oh, harmless. Is that...
Yeah, but harmless isn't in context. Maybe you could just cut out that... But they're going to know you're censoring it.
Well, there are 100 billion stars in the galaxy and 11 amount of space in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And no one knows much about the Earth, of course.
We could jump directly to banging on the steel door.
Where's that?
Right here. What's that? And we could probably get there from... Let's see... We could probably get there from... Let's see.
This is, I'm assuming that you actually get there not far from the space junction. You can virtually anywhere from there. Marching feet outside.
So I say banging on the steel door. What's that? Well, if we're lucky, it's just the Vogons come to throw us. So we can get,
So my
we can
bookmark.
get this, maybe,
Whoa.
maybe go from I bought some peanuts to
So where's that one section? Banging on the door. Okay.
To rather childish, really, maybe.
Okay. All right.
And then you've got, we'll start here from, I brought some peanuts.
I brought some peanuts. And then what about the Hi Arthur? We still want to do that?
Sure. To, come on, I need a drink.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. All right.
So
So
do you
now.
want to do another run through?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see.
I'll try to look more at the.
Here we go. And let's go to the. Where are the bookmarks? How do I get to the bookmarks?
Prosser.
Oops.
Prosser is well. That sounds very reasonable, I think.
Let's see.
Buy a drink for Prefect meant alcohol. The Encyclopedia Galactica describes alcohol as a colorless, volatile liquid formed by the fermentation of sugars. Okay, I'm just trying to find my voices.
Oh, sure.
Ready?
Ready.
Hello, Arthur.
Ford, hi, how are you?
Fine. Look, are you busy?
Well, I've just got this bulldozer to lie in front of, but otherwise, no, not specifically.
There's a pub down the road. Let's have a drink and we can talk.
Look, don't you understand?
Mr. Dent, we're waiting.
Ford, that man wants to knock my house down.
Well, he can do it whilst you're away, can't he?
But I don't want him to.
Well, just ask him to wait till you get back.
Ford.
Arthur, will you please just listen to me? Listen to me. I'm not fooling. I've got to tell you the most important thing you've ever heard. I've got to tell you now, and I've got to tell you in that pub there.
Why?
Because you're going to need a very stiff drink. Now, just trust me.
I'll see what I can do. It better be good. Hello, Mr. Prosser.
Yes, Mr. Dent, have you come to your senses yet?
Can we just for a moment, assume for the moment that I haven't?
Well?
And that I'm going to be staying put here until you go away?
So?
So you're going to be standing around here all day doing nothing?
Could be.
Well, if you're resigned to standing around here all day doing nothing, you don't actually need me to be here all this time now, do you?
No, not as such.
So if you can just take it as read that I am actually here, I could just slip off to the pub down there for about half an hour. How does that sound?
That sounds very reasonable, I think, Mr. Dent. I'm sure we don't actually need you there for the whole time. We can just hold up our end of the confrontation.
And if you want to pop off a bit later on, I can always cover for you in return.
Oh, thank you, yes. That would be fine, Mr. Dent. Very kind.
And of course it goes without saying that you don't try and knock my house over whilst I'm away.
What? Good Lord, no, Mr. Dent. The mere thought hadn't even begun to speculate about the merest possibility of crossing my mind.
Do you think we can trust him?
Myself, I trust him to the end of the earth.
Yes, but how far is that?
About 12 minutes away. Come on, I need a drink. Let's see. We're skipping to another chapter and another scene. And scene. I bought some peanuts.
Huh?
If you've never been through a matter transference beam before, you've probably lost some salt and protein. The beer you had should have cushioned your system a bit. How are you feeling?
Like a military academy. Bits of me keep on passing out. If I asked you where the hell we were, would I regret it?
Oh, we're safe.
Good.
We're in a small galley cabin in one of the spaceships of the Vogon constructor fleet.
Ah, this is obviously some strange usage of the word safe that I wasn't previously aware of.
I'll have a look for the light.
All right. How did we get here?
We hitched a lift.
Excuse me, are you trying to tell me that we just stuck out our thumbs and some bug-eyed monster stuck his head out and said, "Hey fellas, hop right in, I can take you as far as the Basingstoke roundabout"?
Well, the thumb's an electronic sub-ether device. The roundabout's at Barnard Star 6 light years away. But otherwise, yeah, that's more or less right.
And the bug-eyed monster?
It's green, yes.
Fine. When can I go home?
You can't. Oh, I found the light.
Good grief! Is this really the interior of a flying saucer?
It certainly is. What do you think?
It's a bit squalid, don't you think?
What did you expect?
Well, I don't know. Gleaming control panels, flashing lights, computer screens. Not old mattresses.
These are the old Dentrasi sleeping quarters.
I thought you said they were called Vogons or something.
Oh, the Vogons run the ships. The Dentrasi are the cooks. They let us on board.
I'm confused.
Here, have a look at this.
What is it?
It's the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's sort of an electronic book. It'll tell you everything you want to know. That's its job.
I like the cover. Don't panic. It's the first helpful or intelligible thing anybody said to me all day.
That's why it sells so well. Here, press this button, and then the screen will give you the index. Several million entries, fast wind through the index to V. There you are. Vogon constructor fleets. Enter that code on the typewriter and read what it says.
Vogon constructor fleets. Here's what to do if you want to get a lift from a Vogon. Forget it. They're one of the most unpleasant races in the galaxy. Not actually evil, but bad-tempered, bureaucratic, officious, and callous. They wouldn't even lift a finger to save their own grandmothers from the ravenous bug-bladder beast of Trull without orders, signed in triplicate, sent in, sent back, queried, lost, found, subjected to public inquiry, lost again, and finally buried in soft peat for 3 months and recycled as firelighters. The best way to get a drink out of a Vogon is stick your finger down his throat, and the best way to irritate him is to feed his grandmother to the ravenous bug-bladder beast of Trull. What a strange book. How do we get a lift then?
Well, that's the point. It's out of date now. I'm doing the field research for the new revised edition of the guide. So, for instance, I will have to include a revision pointing out that since the Vogons have made so much money being professionally unpleasant, they can now afford to employ Dentrasi cooks, which gives us a rather useful little loophole.
And who are the Dentrasi?
The best cooks and the best drink mixers, and they don't give a wet slap about anything else, and they will always help hitchhikers on board, partially because they like the company, but mostly because it annoys the Vogons, which is exactly the sort of thing you need to know if you're an impoverished hitchhiker trying to see the marvels of the galaxy for less than $30 Altarian a day. And that's my job. Fun, isn't it?
It's amazing.
Unfortunately, I got stuck on the Earth rather than I intended. Well, I came for a week and was stranded for 15 years.
But how did you get there in the first place?
Easy. I got a lift with a teaser. You don't know what a teaser is, I'll tell you. Teasers are usually rich kids with nothing to do. They cruise around looking for planets which haven't made interstellar contact yet, and buzz them.
Buzz them?
Yes. They find some isolated spot with very few people around, then land right by some poor unsuspecting soul whom no one's ever going to believe them, and then strut up and down in front of him, wearing silly antennae on their head and making beep beep noises, rather childish, really.
Are We can
go. We can skip.
For
now we're going to end scene. We're gonna now.
I don't mind doing the next little bit, but
That's
I don't
fine.
want to get to that big passage that never ends.
So we go to the next another scene in another chapter. Well, it's not really by chapter. Sorry.
Yeah, it's
by scene.
By
scene. All right, and scene.
What's that?
Oh, if you're lucky, it's just the Vogons coming to throw us into space.
And if we're unlucky?
If we're unlucky, the captain might want to read us some of his poetry first. Vogon poetry is, of course, the third worst in the universe. The second worst is that of the Asgoths of Korea. During a recitation by their poet, Master Grunthos the Flatulent, of his poem Ode to a Small Lump of Green Putty, I found in my armpit one midsummer morning. 4 of his audience died of internal hemorrhaging, and the president of the Mid-Galactic Arts Nobbling Council, he survived by gnawing one of his own legs off. Grunthos is reported to have been disappointed by the poem's reception and was about to embark on a reading of his 12-book epic entitled My Favorite Bath Time Gurgles, which his own major intestine, in a desperate attempt to save humanity, leapt straight up through his neck and throttled his brain. The very worst poetry of all perished along with its creator, Paula Nancy Millstone Jennings of Greenbridge, in the destruction of the planet Earth. Vogon poetry is mild by comparison, and when the Vogon captain began to read it provoked this reaction from Fort Prefect. Arrgh! And this from Arthur Dent. Okay. Perfect.
Okay. Let me see, I just got one thing to say. Recitation.
I did that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he said resuscitation.
Oh.